Welcome, Leo, to your Sagittarius full moon 2 week forecast for the ascendant, the sun or the moon. On the 31st of May, the second full moon of the month occurs in the free spirited fire sign of Sagittarius. We can talk about a Sagittarius full moon in a general way, but on the screen is this one, but from a purely Leo perspective. We have other planetary influences feeding in as well. I'm going to unpack all of this. By the end of the forecast, you'll have a clearer picture of what's upcoming over the next fortnight in terms of your energy, work, relationships, or finances. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel, and a very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. The moon in Sagittarius can be a truth seeker. It can be very much about knowledge. It can be about that desire to have personal space, but it is passionate because it shares your fire triplicity. But for you, it's in the fifth house, and fifth house energy has an echo of your sign. So the moon in the fifth house wants to be warm, it wants to be affectionate, but it also has to balance the position of the sun, which is in the 11th house, which is more detached. It's a bit more of an Aquarius energy, even if the host is the quick-witted Gemini. And that 11th house can be to do with our network, our friendships, our long-term plan. And it's possible that recently you have felt a bit pulled around in terms of other people's needs and expectations. So one of the things you can apply to this event is being more conscious of your time management. That old maxim, Leo, which you know well, I feel, that we can't please all of the people all of the time, comes to mind. So it may be that maybe the demands of a particular group of people, or maybe one key friend, are getting a little bit in the way of you expressing what you need on your terms, because the fifth house is about charisma. The moon is about your feelings. If you are feeling a bit cramped, that Sagittarius resists that feeling of limitation, it's time to push back a little bit. But what can help you on this event is that Mars, the planet of passion and assertion, is in a very dominant part of your chart and linking to the moon in a 150-degree quincunx. So it suggests you do need to set a boundary because something's got a bit out of alignment. You're not managing to focus your time in quite the way you want. It may be on your love life. It could be a friend has taken an unhealthy interest in that part of your situation. It may be that the things you want to do that are more creative are not happening because the things that are involving you generally at the moment are scattering your energies in a way which is not helpful. When it comes to any kind of relationship, this could be a 2 week period of deep reflection. It may be that you're in a relationship that you're not enjoying so much. And because Saturn, the planet of limitation, is clashing with the relationship planet Venus, which is in a very deeply thoughtful part of your situation, but Saturn's almost asking you to consider the cool, hard truth. So if you don't see a future, the 11th house, with a particular romantic situation. Mars is giving you the confidence to say how you feel, but I think Saturn and Venus can make you very much more conscious of what is not really working for you personally. Now, the fifth house can also be about children. If you have got some youngsters and maybe their activities are proving a little bit demanding for you, that could be another part of your thinking. I would say that with Pluto in the part of your chart to do with close relationships, in a very strong link with Uranus, and the part of fortune in that seventh house as well, in the lovely link with the Sun. If you've got a relationship or friendship group that's going well, I don't feel that this full moon is going to be so challenging in that regard. It may be more to do with just making sure that whatever your long-term plan is really helps you to showcase your unique brilliance. And if at the moment what you're doing is not quite gratifying you in the way that you would like, it may be that you're doing something financially, the North Node, and Uranus, newly arrived in Gemini, in a T-square with the nodal axis, is perhaps pushing you to rebel against your own plans that you've had, to think again. But what's going to happen as we go into June, as Mercury moves to join up with Venus and Jupiter in that reflective 12th house, and you may go through a period, certainly until the new moon of the 15th of June, just really mulling over if you're not quite sure about that long-term hope, that friendship, that group of people, or maybe even that romantic situation. Now, if you are footloose and fancy free and you'd like to meet someone new, I feel this event in a way is pushing you to perhaps come out of any reservation you may have. But that's difficult when Saturn is applying to Venus and Venus is in a more tender and perhaps even vulnerable part of your situation. But that's where Mars, again, despite being in a tense angle to the moon, can perhaps give you a bit more push to step into new situations. And not all Leos are very outgoing. That's one of the misconceptions. So I think this event can give you a little bit more self-belief in a public context, but that doesn't mean to say that you should end up with someone who's not right for you. But I feel it's a full moon that does give you opportunities, but it may require you to realign if you're not with the right people, the right person, or you're not showcasing your brilliance, or maybe some youngsters around you need a bit of support, or maybe even some firm boundaries. I'm going to summarize those four areas of energy, work, relationships, and finances next for you. I have reduced the price of my personal horoscopes. For many years, it's been buy two, get 30% off. Because of the cost of living increases, it's now buy one, get three for the price of one. The one you pay for, your life roadmap report, helps us to understand the patterns that have played out in our lives so far from a natal viewpoint, so your unique astrology, but get a more intimate understanding of those energies and how to work them better future forwards. 3, your 12 months transit forecast and your draconic soul karmic analysis. If your North Node in your natal chart is not late in Pisces or early in Aries, the draconic chart can look very different indeed. It helps us to look at astrology, life, and ourselves in a different, fresh, insightful, but quite profound way. Please see the link below for more. If if you would like to have a one-to-one with me, it would be an absolute pleasure. Please see my testimonials below. If you've yet to watch your monthly forecast for June, that's on the screen. Your Mars in Taurus 6-week forecast on the screen. And if you've yet to take advantage of my free daily written horoscope via your device each morning, please sign up below. I do think some people can be quite sniffy about daily horoscopes. If they're written with care, what they're doing is recording the dominant astrological influence each day. They're not telling people what to do, and they're not predicting what 1/12 of the population will happen to them. And I think they're very valuable, therefore. And we can also read them for the ascendant, our moon, from a sidereal viewpoint, for our ex, our partner, who else. Please see below for more. So let's summarize those areas. As far as your energy is concerned, I think you are feeling potentially more sensitive. Sensitive is not a bad thing. To be a little bit more vulnerable actually enables us to grow. It also can connect us to other people who are showing that more emotional energy. Being a fire sign and also a sign that does like to manifest a degree of magnificence, if you like, majesty. Venus and Jupiter being in that 12th house could be a little challenging in that regard, but Mars right at the top of your chart can also help you to still come across in a very confident way. What about from the professional situation. Well, Phil Mars right at the top of the chart like that can see you make progress. But let's just say that you're doing a job at the moment which isn't interesting enough. It doesn't really engage you. It's not seeing your passion come to life. I think Mars, in a way, is asking you to think, are there some different options you could explore? If you are enjoying your work and it does have some kind of team or partnership dimension to it, goes from strength to strength. You won't feel it on this event. As far as your financial situation is concerned, the North Node in the eighth house is about the direction of travel from a spiritual viewpoint as far as your long-term shared resources. Uranus is saying to push back on that, to rebel if it's not working for you. And Venus is also the planet of money and is challenged by Saturn in the ninth house. I don't think your finances over the next week or so will necessarily be quite as strong as you would like. But just to say, in the second week of June, there could be some surprise news that almost comes out of the blue, and that could really please you. As far as relationships are concerned, it's really about whether you feel aligned. So whether it's with friendships, with an existing relationship, or if you'd like to meet someone, you need to be truly yourself. So if you're around anyone at the moment who you feel a bit inhibited around, that gives you the insight of whether you should consider changing things or not. It's been a real pleasure being with you, Leo. All the best for this full moon and look forwards to seeing you again soon.